Здравствуйте, comrades. Welcome to a slightly early edition of Socialism Saturday. And the reason that I went live about 15 minutes earlier than usual is because tonight for Socialism Saturday, we have a very special treat. You see, it is not just our friends over on Red May that do socialist live streams. There are other friends out there that do socialist live streams as well. And when I was researching for tonight's Socialism Saturday, I accidentally stumbled upon one of those new friends. Now, we have never watched this channel before. It is called Midwestern Marxism. But as it turns out, they not only are a YouTube channel, they are also, well, Charles, you don't even know what you're walking into, bro. So why don't you sit down and relax before you start shit talking? Not only is, see, I love it when conservatives come in here and they're like, socialism is awful. It's like, bro, we agree with you. That's not the point. So settle down. Tonight we're going to be watching a book launch from Midwestern Marxism, because not only is this a YouTube channel, not only do they have a website, but apparently they also have a book publishing company. And it just so happens that they are doing a book launch starting in about 11 minutes. And it is for a book called The Purity Fetish and the Crisis of Western Marxism. Now, I do want to say, I already see Chewbacca over in their chat. I have pinned the link to the actual live stream. I know you're Chewbacca bot, obviously. I have pinned the link to the live stream to the top of the chat. And if you go over there to participate in their live chat, I'm just asking you to be smart. I don't want to see any disruption. I don't want to see anyone saying, why are you engaging in capitalism if you're a socialist? I don't want to see, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anyone saying, why are you selling your books for money if you're a socialist? I don't want to hear it, guys. It's too simple. Okay? It's way, 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 way too simple. I want people to be smart. I want you to ask smart questions. And most importantly, I don't want you to get banned out of their chat. Okay? Because then the fun ends. If you get yourself banned, then the fun ends. But if you are polite, yes, and Kurt brings up another good point. Be polite so they'll keep doing this publicly. Guys, the point of Socialism Saturday is not to discredit the socialists. I think they do that just fine on their own. It is not to argue with the socialists. It is not even to disprove the socialists. The point of Socialism Saturday and why we come together to watch the furthest of the far left, the most dystopian shit you will see on YouTube all week, I promise you. The reason we do this is to understand the mind of the enemy, to listen to them say things that they usually only say to their friends or when friendly people are watching them, and to understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, their perspective of the world, so that we can effectively, do something about it. So we are not going to convince anyone in their chat to not be a socialist. I really want to make sure this is clear. We are not going to convince anyone over there to not be a socialist. So the best thing you can do is to learn from them. And if you want to have a little fun in their chat, I'm not going to, stop you from doing it, but just be smart, man. We're better than that. Don't do random shit posting. I'm not a fan. And again, please don't be disruptive. I mean, come on. The moment that we start being disruptive is the moment that we start looking like them, and I'm not comfortable with that, so I don't co-sign any of that.
If you guys want to change directions, I think anticipating the moves of the class enemy might be an interesting place to go.
Yes, let's anticipate
don't get me wrong,
moves of the
stay
enemy.
On this topic
let's
if
see.
you want.
Let's see how much you
I
guys
just thought
actually
I would
understand.
bring it up.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
I wanted to piggyback off of something that the Radical was mentioning about building community and the connection of building community to being able to achieve a certain level of ideological clarity. And I think that's very important. And one of the contemporary places where a lot of community building is done, somewhat unfortunately, perhaps somewhat fortunately, is the internet. And we've seen that there's an immense level of manipulation that the ruling class can do in that sphere. because it literally owns everything, not just the specific social medias, which can
They say the
use
famine in
bots to
Ukraine
promote
was a
certain
drought.
narratives, use censorship to diminish
All right.
others, to shadow ban others, or to even ban others. One of the things we mention often, because it's hit us fairly hard, is that TikTok, the most popular app in the country, our accounts have been banned 7 times now.
Really?
seven bans.
Isn't that
some accounts have
interesting?
gotten close to
TikTok is
400,000
banning
followers. We're
communists.
getting millions of views with a certain level of consistency. And that affected our ability to create both community and
Isn't
ideological
that
clarity at that
interesting?
level, at that scale. So how should we think about approaching those questions in an era where so much of that community building, of that war of positions, has to be waged in these ideological terrains that are associated with social media, with the internet, and where any success that you have, once it begins to grow into something that can be substantial and opposing the existing order, you can get the rug pulled under you. Because I was talking to Noah a while back, and even if you do create your own alternative places, people would find them through search engines that are still controlled by the Silicon Valley bourgeoisie, and that can still prevent you from finding those
They
places.
consider big tech
Certain
to be bourgeoisie
libertarian
and the
voices have
enemy.
promoted
How funny.
alternatives to like YouTube or to Twitter, where people wouldn't be banned, but they would. You look those up, and
They have
don't
exactly the
sometimes
same
come up
problems
on
as
Google search
conservatives.
engines. And so there's so many infinite ways of manipulating the creation of community and the war of position that we have to engage in necessarily in this day
That's
and age
the
of
establishment.
after the technological revolution of the last 2 decades. So how do you guys face that problem?
Do you mind if I say something quick too? Just because that's kind of been, we've been waging that struggle on TikTok and on social media and stuff. And I think Noah and I have learned a lot this week from managing our Discord server. Like,
If
one of the
people have
best
to
things
work
you can
to
do, and
eat,
this is
who
really
assigns the
hard for
work?
people who don't
Who
use
decides
these
what
social
jobs
media
people do?
platforms in their everyday life. But one of the best things you can do is understand the platform. Like, even our book launch today, there's a libertarian professor doing a live stream where they are
I'm not a
trying to send
professor.
people to disrupt our stream and get our stream taken
I
down.
didn't send
So
anyone to disrupt anyone. I
in
actually
the
told them
course of
not
this
to.
book launch, I've been researching what I can do about it, and I've set our
Look
chat
at-
to
look at-
subscriber
look at-
only.
Oh,
So you have to be
you're
subscribed to Midwestern Marks for 10 minutes before you can leave a chat. So that's
Oh.
basically canceled out all of these libertarians, except for the
They're
ones
not
who are
all
really,
libertarians,
really dedicated
bro.
to trolling. But same with Discord.
God, these people
it
do
was a
no
long
research,
process,
and we expect them
and
to
it
be
took
able
a
to
lot of
lead
effort, but
society. They
we were able to organize a mod
do
staff
no
of people who are
research.
theoretically educated and active on the app.
I told people not
and
to be
kind of
disruptive.
who are
Openly.
gonna run our Discord server in this community of Midwestern Marks followers, in a way that is
But it's good to know that that
organized
guy's
and
the
is helping
guy that's
people
actually
develop
causing the
theoretically.
problems.
And like Noah and
That
I
guy
kind
is
of had
the
to
face
learn
of
how to use
transphobia
Discord.
right there. That
So I
guy
think
hates
taking
black
those
trans women.
realms of struggle seriously as real places where people are getting organized and people are learning theory and learning how to use them.
That is the face of the cis white
is
oppressive
key. Like learning
male.
the platforms
Right there, the
themselves,
face of the racist.
like,
The face
has
of
been
the
really
authoritarian
helpful
who
for
hates
us.
black trans
And
women.
then just being relentless, like constantly putting stuff out, even no matter how many times they take us down too. But
I do
It was definitely
appreciate
a
that
learning
he thinks I'm a
process for
professor.
us.
huge learning
and
experience.
I'm sort of forever amazed.
Are they crying now? Are they crying because we're watching their stream?
Wrecking
We literally
and
wanted to listen to what you had to
of a lot
say.
of the sort of purity fetish milieu. But what
We literally just wanted to listen to you.
One, it's in a better place now.
In the middle of your
we learn and we
presentation, in the
improve.
middle of your
But I
book
think
launch,
at the end of the day,
that we're
talking
listening to you and
about
amplifying your
the
message.
internet in general.
Don't
and
you want more
organizing
people to
in
see
general.
your message? I'm just
There's
sitting
going
here
to have
knitting,
to
bro.
be done
Jesus
something
Christ.
at the level of the
Cry
property
more,
question
white
on
men.
big
Cry more,
internet
cis straight white
questions,
men.
right? So Google, YouTube, Facebook, all of these, we're going to
I literally told people not to be disruptive.
There was
like
one thing that Trotsky did that
Go
I
back
respect,
to the beginning and check.
and it was right before
told people
the
not to be
seizure of
disruptive.
power. He wanted people in each of the economically important zones, so that when
I
things
can't
went
control
down,
people.
their
You
people were
guys
there
might
that
be
they could trust.
authoritarians.
That
I
could
am not an
sort of
authoritarian.
as
I have no
quickly as possible
responsibility for
and
what
as
people do.
bloodlessly as possible.
But I was extremely clear
change
about what I
over
wanted.
the ownership, right? And I think we need some sort of internet version of that, right? Like, why don't we have people working at Google? Why don't we have people working at Twitter?
You do.
Just stuff like that. I think,
Well,
and for that,
Elon
you
Musk
need
may have
an
fired all of them by
organization
now,
that
but
is serious and able to have its own
It is like they are this
cadre of
pathetic, and
professional
it's so pathetic
revolutionaries
that they're
who can
winning
be sent out on these tasks.
because they're literally
And
crying about people
I
they
just
disagree
sorry,
with
last
watching
thing really
them.
quick. The ruling class takes it serious. Like there are NATO operatives who are running TikTok now. They've been hired on to TikTok's content moderation staff, and same with Twitter. We've seen the recent Twitter Files debacle.